Hey, all you Gretas and Shutez cats out there. Welcome to Unit 5, Section 13, Urban Runoff. So, here we go. So, a typical city block will generate 5 times more runoff than a woodland area of the same size. Not good. So, in a natural ground cover, we lose 40% of the water to evapotranspiration, leaving the plants. 10% is lost in runoff. 25% goes into shallow infiltration to go down to roots, and then 25% is that deep infiltration down to aquifers and groundwater. In a city where you cannot absorb that water, we lose 30% to transpiration. We lose 55% to runoff. 10% it goes shallow, and maybe 5% goes to deep infiltration. So any plants in the area aren't getting a ton of water, and we are not replenishing our aquifers at all. So in natural systems, the porous and varied terrain of natural landscapes like forests, wetlands, and grasslands traps rainwater and snowmelt and allows them to filter slowly into the ground. So this is called infiltration and percolation. So first you infiltrate in, and then you percolate down. Rains, all of this stuff happens. Gorgeous. Impervious is a non-porous surface that prevents rain and snowmelt from infiltrating. So roads, parking lots, rooftops. So once again, you're reducing your infiltration and you're increasing your runoff the more impervious surfaces you have. Bad. Runoff concentrates and gathers speed as it travels through the sewers. So then you have very excessive volume and power as it empties into a stream. That's going to erode stream banks, damage stream-side vegetation, and wipe out aquatic habitats. Imagine if you're the poor little fishes that are around there. Increased flooding during wet weather, but lower stream flows during dry weather. Pollutant loads are carried by runoff, so a lot of sediment, motor oil, grease from motor vehicles, pesticides and nutrients from your lawn, pathogens from pet waste and septic systems. Make sure you pick up your dog poop, people. Road salts are another one. When it gets cold and icy and they salt the roads, all that has to go somewhere. Heavy metals, and then thermal pollution. When the water goes over dark roads, it gets warmer. So all that stuff goes down into the storm drain and then into streams and rivers and eventually out into the ocean. This is not what it should look like. So mitigation, how can we fix this stuff? Permeable pavement, this stuff is so cool. You should look up videos on YouTube. Really, really neat stuff. So if you have any type of permeable pavement so the water can go down into it, you can park on this and it looks pretty. It's moss. It's not like you need to mow anything, but a lot of that rain is going to go down into that instead of just running over the top of it. If you plant trees and other vegetation, it's also going to result in more water being pulled down in, and you want to build up, not out. So taller buildings where more people can live instead of out and making more impervious surfaces. So here's our natural water cycle, everything that you guys know. Here is the urban water cycle, which is bad, but you can try to have a sustainable urban water cycle by planting some more trees and stuff, having better infiltration. And if you're going to have that contaminated runoff, have a wetland treatment area so it can help filter out some of that stuff before it gets where it can really contaminate. So here is city runoff doing it right. You have more water-wise plants. You have maybe rooftop stormwater that goes into the gardens from like a rain barrel. You take any hazardous materials elsewhere. I can tell you where to do that here in Indianapolis. Once again, rain barrels, you collect your dog poop. You have rainwater infiltrating soil or gravel. If you are sweeping your driveway, sweep all that stuff onto the lawn or actually throw it out. Don't put it into the road. And wash your car at a car wash because you don't want that soap going down here. So this results in good water going here. If you do it wrong, that rooftop runoff is directed right into the street drain. So that means more runoff. Lots of pesticides and herbicides, that's chemicals, car washing, chemicals, dumping of hazardous household waste. Oh my goodness, don't do that. Excessive use of fertilizer, and you have a thinner soil that's going to store little water. oil and gas residues from cars. So this is right, this is wrong. They don't treat that at all, and it just goes into the water. And that's messed up. Here are some really cool storm drains. If you have a storm drain that's clogged, if you see a lot of like leaves and stuff and it's a dry day, go ahead and clean that up so the water can actually go down into the storm drain instead of creating more runoff. And we have finished this round of notes. So before I go, I want to let each and every one of you know you are good enough, you are smart enough, and people do like you. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good gad, do your homework.